Check it out. Check it out. This is my homemade router table. Let's get in close on some of this stuff here. I had some pieces, some scraps of 3/4 inch T111. The backside is pretty smooth. I could put more of this particle board down there, but I have to buy more glue first. But until I have more glue, this is going to suffice just rather nicely. What I did here is I not only built the whole router table. See, I took this out of what was a Craftsman 8-inch table saw. The thing was a piece of junk. It was not that good. So, you know, the motor was really tired. It couldn't rip on anything, and the fence was just missing some pieces and everything. So I wanted to take this deck apart and basically mount a router underneath it. And you can see right here where I started that thought, and it would have worked out pretty good, except for this deck is really, really thin, and the screws need to countersink. And if I were to drill for a countersink, there'd be nothing really holding that router up. And the thing would be bouncing across the floor after trying to run a couple passes through. So this is why I did the 3/4 inch plywood here. And it's a 2x4 frame. And you see here, this is the mechanism. This is a switch from the table saw, that 8-inch thing. Wait for that to calm down here. I had a little outlet just stored away. Pretty much, this table pretty much cost me nothing to make, but it's going to make everything as far as a difference. But let's flip this over. Okay, now we see the underside, we see where the router's at, and we see, you know, I framed it out pretty sturdily. Sturdily, is that a word? I think it is. But yeah, I made it pretty sturdy. I'm going to put some legs on this thing eventually, but right now the sawhorses will do okay. Even though this one in particular likes to sort of go cockeyed on me. But this basically just took a couple hours to put together. I did a lot of YouTube watching just to basically get an idea of how I wanted to build it and everything. And well, you see the final result here. I mean, and I tried some edge joining, and I have to say it turned out beautiful. I mean, took a little extra adjusting on the fence and everything like that, but really nice. And I took this old piece of 1x here, and I routed the edge on that. Just, you know, just take these scraps and just practice, or just, you know, test it just to see if it's going to work out right. And it worked out right. So this is the exhaust for the chips. I have an attachment for the router that's supposed to mount to the router for chip removal, you know, just, you know, for dust collection. I think I could screw it onto this and turn the shot vac on to it and actually, you know, do some good dust collection with this too. Yeah, this is I'm actually surprised that this turned out so well, you know, but it did, and I'm actually pleased with it. I did some of my bearing bits, and the bearing bits work beautifully on here too. You can see where I was doing a little bit of practicing, and just testing and everything like that. I mean, it's this was done on the table. This was done before I actually made a frame for it and everything else. This is just with the router, just attached to the plywood, basically, with a bearing bit in there. And you know, here's another one here, another 2x4 that I just played around with. You know, this is definitely not like a finished piece or anything, but this is definitely, you know, a workable table. And if I don't put legs on this, it could be a good job site table. You know, it lay flat in the truck. You just got to take the router out of there and everything like that. It lay flat in the truck bed or even behind the seat. And you can just take it out, put the router in there, and just go to town. And over here, I took a paddle bit and just drilled a couple recesses in here, just so the seat clamp would fit on here. I was clamping this thing down to the 3/4 inch plywood, and it was working fine and everything like that. And then I put the frame together. It's like, duh, I forgot about the seat clamps. Where am I going to clamp them at? Well, that one's big enough to clamp underneath the table. And this one, I needed to just do a little alteration. But, you know, whenever you build something, you could make it whatever you want it to be. So, you know, that's a cool thing. Also, I just built this table not too long ago. It's reclaimed pine, distressed, and you know, make it. I tried to make it look like it was sort of like rough sawn, and still have some wormholes and stuff in there, and just it's, you know, it just looks pretty old, and that's what I wanted. And I put a nice little stain on there. You can't really tell with the reflection of the light. But underneath here, this thing used to be a rusty piece of junk, basically, ready for the scrap pile. And ready to be just written down in the, you know, in the documentation of history. But I revived it. I cleaned all the rust off of it. Took me hours to do. Primed it and painted it, and it's beautiful. So the combination, you know, we got the table with that treadle base, and well, this table's for sale. So if you're interested, just shoot me a message. But I'm looking for $695 or best offer. So I'm pretty flexible. So, you know, just give it a shot. If you like the table, give it a shot. But pretty much, yeah, I just wanted to show this off. I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. And it works beautifully. And it's really going to, you know, ramp things up. Now I've got this table saw here. It's a Ryobi. It's one of the El Cheapo ones. Now I got to fix this throat plate because the thing is sort of recessed. So what I've been doing is layering tape on the back side of it just to try to raise it up. And it's raised it up considerably, but I want it totally flush. Because if I'm ripping something like this, I can't have it dipping and then coming back up. It just won't work right. So, you know, it'll give me uneven cuts and everything like that. I want everything nice and straight. So, you know, I've got to work with that. And I can maybe take a piece of wood that I have here and actually shim it. If the tape's not going to work out right, you know, a nice thin piece of wood here. This is a cutoff here. I don't know. Got all kinds of options, but I know it's going to work out in the end. But I just wanted to show that to you. I know if I could do it, you could do it, you know. And it works just fine. So take care. I wanted to share that with you, share it with the world, you know, and maybe give you some ideas. You know, hopefully I got close enough up on some stuff and everything like that, just so you can see. One thing before I end this, see this little strip here? That is what allows you to do edge joining. and you see how thin it is. Now, you could do a piece of veneer or something like that, or laminate or whatever. But, you know, pretty much anything that's consistent and thin like that will work for you. And this is just two-face taped on there. It'll come right off. Okay, so I could just keep reusing it. I could take it off. So this fence is not only just for doing edge joining, but it's also good for doing some intricate stuff, because I plan on doing some routing on 4x4s, and I want it to be precise, you know, and I need a table like this to do it. So, you know, I'll be taking this little strip off of here and just running it straight, but, you know, it works for me, and hopefully it'll work for you. You know, this is about 3 foot by 2 foot roughly, 18 inches or whatever. I mean, it's a nice size. It'll edge some long boards and everything else. So, you know, there's a thought. There's an option for you. So, take care.